doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
Rocking and rolling. Last person to wear a durag that wasn't from Detroit was me, and I got in so much trouble for it, man. Remember how much trouble I got in for wearing durags, man? Remember, bro? I got in so much trouble, man.
See, I don't see the hate behind them. Like, I feel like they're just such like a I used to be a big hat guy. Like, I was real into hats and all that stuff, and then like I put the durag on, and I almost felt like this was like the missing piece my whole life. Like, it's like it completed me.
You don't feel like have you gotten any negative feedback for the durag?
Honestly, not really. Because the thing is, like, people see the do-rag, and I know they automatically think, like, oh, like, I see what this guy's trying to do. But then I think they kind of look at me, and then they look at the rest of the fit, because usually I got the sandals and the socks on, and then they kind of get a chuckle because they realize that it's just kind of part of the bit.
Yeah, man, I was the same tip. I remember watching, I always tell this story. I was watching the Wayans brothers when I was younger, and there was an episode... There was a lot of episodes with a character named White Mike, and White Mike used to wear do-rags and like silk pajamas, and I used to think it was just hilarious to look at him. And so when I seen it, I was like, man, I want to wear that shit. That looks fucking sweet. And then I started doing it, and all of a sudden I started getting all this like, oh, you're a culture appropriator. Oh, you're against the culture. I was like, man, I thought this shit looked sweet. I didn't know there was a culturalistic aspect about do-rags. But apparently there is.
I don't know. I mean, I see why they feel the way they do, but like at the same time, it's kind of like it's fine. I think if you're wearing it for the right purpose, as with anything, like if you're doing it for the right reasons, you're not trying to jock the culture, you're trying to like embrace it, I guess. But I don't know how much better that sounds, especially with me being me. Regardless, because I mean, even like I wore it down in Nashville, like for one of my buddies' bachelor parties, I was down there wearing it, and like they were all like super nervous, or like, because I mean, there's a lot of like white, like sitting on your like front porch with a shotgun, racist type people down there. So I didn't know the reception I was gonna get, but like it was all completely positive. Like it's one of the things where it's like, I think if you don't look too far into it, like it's really not that big of a deal.
I agree with you. Art, can you bring that microphone a little closer into you?
Of course I can.
Yeah, just drink it.
Oh, just swallow it real quick.
Introduce yourself to everybody real quick.
All right, now for those that know me, I need no introduction, but for those that do not, CooG has entered the function.
Yeah,
so I'm just happy to be here.
Man. When did you start getting into well, where are you from, first of all?
I'm from East Point, Michigan, like right off of 10 and 94, like suburbs of Detroit, so I guess I could say Detroit because I'm kind of close, but like I don't want to like associate if I'm not officially from, you know.
When did you start getting into the music scene?
So I got into it in like 2014. I was like a senior in high school. There was a guy that I went to high school with. His name was Billy, and he released like a fucking Problems remix, and I heard it, and like everybody in the school was rocking it. I'm like, oh, this is kind of sweet. Like I wonder if I could do that, because my kind of thing is I like to start things as like a joke, and then, you know, when you kind of get pretty good at them, they become more of like a serious, like I'll take this on the more serious side type thing. So I kind of just released a whole mixtape. My first mixtape was called Lucid Dreams, like a SoundCloud mixtape. And after that, I kind of just like fell in love with the craft. So I've been doing it on and off for probably close to 10 years now.
Damn.
Yeah, I guess really heavily on it the last like 3 maybe. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, pretty on and off for a while.
And now is the most time that I've noticed you, you know, you're on social media more so that I've seen, and really posting and really going after it. What's the inspiration for you to keep moving and keep pressing in the game?
I don't know. I mean, because I just enjoy, I guess, like doing it. I enjoy the aspect of making music, kind of just like going out, performing, hanging out with people, meeting people, and doing cool stuff. And music's kind of allowed me to do that. And I don't know, I kind of like go back and forth with the idea of like, you know, how much longer do I want to continue pursuing it as like a serious thing? Because I mean, I'm 26, so like I'm almost kind of getting to that point where if I was a few years younger and I could really kind of go after it as much as I want to, you know, I would. But like I'm kind of like getting to that point where like, do I want to slow down and, you know, kind of accept real life for what it is, or do I want to kind of keep chasing this pipe dream that I've kind of made for myself? But over the last kind of year, like I got tapped in with Crowd Freak, like Curtis Lamar and all them, and I've been kind of just, I guess, taking the craft more seriously. And I noticed, like, especially ever since like the summer when I started putting the do-rags on, ironically, you know, everything kind of just started like moving in the right direction for me. And once I kind of like caught the wave, I didn't want to stop moving. When
you finally find the image and the persona and how you want to put yourself out into the entertainment scene, that's when you start getting more receptivity. People start acknowledging you more once you figure it out yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you try to do it for them, but it's like, let me figure out how I really want to get myself. And then people start accepting you once you figure that out. Because, like, I remember when I was dressing, like, I didn't have a sense of fashion at all. Like, when I was, like, 4 or 5 years ago, it was terrible. And I wasn't conscious of the fact that what you wear kind of represents how you are and how how people perceive you, right? So once I started figuring that out, people started acknowledging me way more. Once I started figuring out my fit, figuring out my styles, figuring out how I want to put myself out there, like all that shit matters. What's been the hardest parts of this for you so far as an upcoming artist?
I think with me, it's almost the fact that I almost like border that like line between like serious and like everything kind of comes off as satire. You know what I mean? Because like most of if everything in my life, I kind of it's just one big bit. You know, everything is kind of just a joke. Nothing's ever taken seriously. So it's almost like, I released a song called like Finding Bigfoot about like finding Sasquatch and all that. And then, I followed it up with like an Ape Project mixtape of me kind of making more serious music. So I think it's almost like a blessing and a curse that I kind of do things the way that I do, because like people don't really know how to take it most of the time. Like when I want them to take me seriously, they kind of think like, oh, this is a joke, haha. And then, when I'm on the more like haha tip, people just don't really know how to like receive it, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of similar to G-Mac Cash. Like a lot of people don't know G-Mac Cash is a superb lyricist. Like the guy can out-rap a lot of artists. And, because he kind of makes more like some comedic rap and some satire rap and stuff like that, or current event rap, that people kind of look past that. When he drops those hard tapes and those hard tracks, sometimes people look past that because he's already built a reputation for, making people laugh or relatability. And so do you feel like you're on that same tip where, you got real music and real stuff to say, but because the joke stuff's the most popular stuff, it kind of gets put to the side?
Yes and no. And I think a lot of it too, like my style being the way it is, like especially when I do like showcases or events where there's a lot of different people performing, like I'm typically kind of like the black sheep out of the group. Like I'm usually the one that presents something different. So it's a good thing because it's a good way to stand out. People kind of come and they don't quite know what they're going to get out of me. But it's also kind of like, it might like, I don't want to say rub people the wrong way, but they might not necessarily like fuck with it if it's not quite their like vibe. It's almost kind of like, oh, this guy's a little weird compared to everybody else. But I almost kind of embrace that. You know what I mean? I like being the one that's a little different. I like being the one that kind of brings their own thing to the table because I'm very like unapologetically myself, and I like to really like embrace that fact.
Well, with everything I see you were at Auntie's house, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Auntie's house. And I saw is that freestyle or is that like pre-written?
That's like a pre-recorded like a song I got Super Saiyan 3.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that we got like a lot of people were tapping in on that one and paying attention to that one. And what's been the most for you successful moment so far in your career?
That's a tough one. Honestly, probably just the fact that like my one song Roman Reigns is kind of just like gone crazy like globally and on like TikTok and stuff, and I've never really like put anything behind it. It's got like 12.6 thousand videos to it now, like 33,000 views on YouTube, and I just like that was one of the songs I kind of just made like a whatever in my bedroom. So just to see it kind of like grow as to being my most like, I guess, successful song has been like fascinating because I'm real into the wrestling scene. So
yeah, like because one song can do it and you didn't even try, it's like, wow, I can really.
It makes you kind of crave wanting to replicate that and kind of like do something different. And I think the biggest thing for me though is like I'm lacking a lot of visual content. Like I know the videos are where it's at, and that's what kind of brings attention in. And that's the one thing I think I really need to like step up in my arsenal because I don't think I got like 4, maybe 5 music videos, and like out of like the 80 some songs I have, that's not a great like ratio.
Yeah, for sure. You got to make sure you're pressing on every side of the thing, right? Marketing, visuals. You got to know, meet the right people. You got to be at the right events at the right times, and it's so much to being an artist. And like you said, you don't know how much longer you want to press on the gas for it, right? What other decisions would you make if you didn't continue to make music?
Well, I got a job right now. I work as like a tool and die apprentice. So we basically like get the stamps that they use at like Ford and GM like to make the car parts. We get them from like China when they're built and get them ready for mass production and kind of like ship them out. So I guess that's like my main hustle. So if all else fails with the music, I kind of have something to fall back on. But it's kind of just more so like I want to have something to fall back on because I don't want to like put my whole life savings into this, and then you get to 30 and it's like, well, what do I do now?
Do you like your job?
I do. I mean, like, I don't love my job. Like, if I didn't have to do it every day for the rest of my life, I wouldn't do it. But, like, I'm kind of, like, content where I'm at. It's pretty close to home. The people I work with are cool. And they're all supportive of the dream, too. So it's like whenever I'm leaving work to go perform or something, they're all like, oh, yeah, do good. Don't come back.
I mean, that's the thing. If you're an entertainer, having to go to work must be the hardest thing in the world because in entertainment, to some degree, it feels like there's, more freedom involved, which in reality there isn't. But there is a freedom of, you you get to decide a little bit more of where you're gonna go, where you're gonna be there, when you're gonna be there, and all that stuff. With a job, you can't do any of that. It's almost like prison to me, man.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Working a job is so prison to me, man. Especially if I want to make something artistic or something different or creative. How can I be at a job?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and especially when you got people like just shitting on you and trying to talk down on you, and you like say you have extracurricular activities, like oh, like why would you want to leave work to go perform? That's stupid. It's like, well, like, cause I got a dream. I got things I want to do that don't involve this place. You know what I mean? Like I'm fine with being comfortable, but like it's kind of like the last thing on my mind. I think I've got bigger sights than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I was watching this lady at Walmart today. She was like a manager or something, and she was yelling at one of her workers because he had his AirPods in his ear. And she's like, if you do it again, if you wear your AirPods at work again, I'm writing you up. And I was thinking, she's like 70. She looked like her time's running out. I'm like, dude, like, really? Like, your life's at this point where you're yelling at a kid for wearing AirPods at work, and like, you think she was so serious about it. I was like, this is your life, man.
Yeah. And that's my worst fear is like getting to that point. 'Cause I mean, I got guys I work with that are like 60-some years old that are still working almost because they have to. And that's almost my biggest fear. It's like, I mean, I don't want to be like rich, you know, like I don't need like 100-bedroom house type thing. But like, I just want to kind of be at the point where like I can be comfortable with my money and like do stuff if I want to do stuff. Like, I don't need to feel like I need to work every day for the rest of my life just to survive type shit.
Yeah, that would suck, man.
Yeah, it terrifies me. It's just a scary thought.
Some people are chill with it, man. I don't know how they do it. They just like, this is my, you know what I think it is? I think the only way I could ever live a normal life where like I have a 9-to-5 job and I go on vacations a few times a year is if I found like the love of my life. Maybe because then you would like go home to somebody and like
you kind of have something you feel like you can settle down with, and you have a reason to settle down.
Like that fulfillment's there too. Like if you're really like, I have a cousin who's like super in love with his wife, like so in love with her that he like pretty much gave up everything just to be with her. And I was like, and he seems super happy. And I'm like, that's the only way I could live a 9-to-5. Maybe if like love was there and you're just like, all right, work the 9-to-5, go home, have a glass of whiskey, chill with my wife and my kids. All right. But you'd have to be so in love. Dude.
That's what I mean. You like people strive for that Hallmark ending though. Yeah. I mean, it's like you got the motherfuckers that like went the route of like the army that got married. Like I know dudes that got married like day after they graduated high school, basically. Yeah. But that's the grind. Like you know, you get married, you go to the army, you get a Charger, and you move to Hawaii. It's just like the.
Kind of, yeah. Your wife's cheating on you while you're out.
Yeah,
it's like stationed out. Yeah. Then I was just watching this YouTube. You know, I'm falling into the YouTube crime series shit, man. Where they show you the court case, they show you the interrogation.
Oh, the interrogation tape shit is crazy, especially when they like analyze the body language and stuff too. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I've been watching them. Like they interrogate the guy. Like so, they interrogated this army veteran who accidentally shot his wife in the back of the head. So his claim was like his claim was he just came back from the army. He went home. He said hi to his wife. She went to work at her table. There was a gun on her bed because she left it out just in case somebody broke in. He picked it up and he's like, what's the gun doing here? And then the gun went off and shot her in the back of the head. So they're interrogating him like, so you're an army veteran and you literally didn't know how to check the gun, if it's loaded or not. You didn't have it on safety. You had it pointed at the back of her head.
Didn't know what to do, yeah.
Yeah. And then you blew the back of her head out. And so I'm watching this interrogation and he's like, I didn't kill my wife, dude. I love my wife. And then like, I'm just like, that fucking sucks. Like, later they had figured out that she was seeing somebody else.
Oh yeah, so there was a motive kind of behind the whole thing. Yeah.
But the thing that was interesting about that was I remember like 4 years ago, this girl I went to high school with, she married this guy who went into the army too. And one day she made like this fucking belligerent post about him. She was like, I never knew it was going to be like this. I didn't know I was going to be by myself this whole time while you're away. I did what I had to do because I had to do it. And everybody's like, yo, take this shit down.
Take it down.
So the whole point is like, I think these army guys' fucking wives are fucking a lot or something, man.
I mean, yeah. And it's kind of like, I feel bad for them too. Because like you're out here serving your country and then your wife is just serving the community. Like, like that, like thank you for your service, like. And
that's one for the books.
Yeah, and then you come back and find out like you got a kid that isn't yours, and then that opens a whole can of worms. And
no, it's the most annoying thing in the world. Like if you get locked up and you figure out your girl's like out there, you know, cheating on you the whole time when you only have like a 2-year sentence, or you're in the army and you know you have 4 years, whatever you got to do, and then you figure out she's seeing Bob next door. It's like, come on, man, like those guys have to have it the worst, man. Like,
I agree, and especially like. It's all you have to think about too, because you're just over there and there's nothing you can do about it. You kind of just got to deal with it. And They keep rolling with the punches.
Yeah, I forget what movie. What's it, Nick? Where they say like, when you're in the army, they try to make you forget about your girl. Like your friends will be like,
yeah, you might as well. She's just if she's there when you get back, you got lucky. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a fucked up funny part too. When I was in the Air Force, a lot of people would get married just so they could move out of the fucking dorms.
Yeah, I
like
think that's a big
they
thing
signed
too.
away half their shit literally just to not sleep in a fucking dormitory.
That's crazy.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
They would. I forget what movie I was watching, but they would say like, they would talk to you like, you know, an army group would be together, like a little crew would be together, and be like, anybody who thinks about their girlfriend, they'd be like, yeah, she's fucking Jody right now. So stop thinking. That's what they would say. Like, she's fucking Jody right now. So you might as well stop thinking about her. They'd make you forget about it. And I know when you go to prison, it's the same circumstance, right? It's like when you're in jail, everybody in jail is like telling you your wife is not. Fucking, she's not waiting for you, dude. She's fucking some other guy right now.
It's just that pipe dream you have. They're like, nah, she's different, bro. She's different than everybody else.
Everybody thinks their girl's different.
Yeah.
Man. Are you in a relationship, bro?
I am, yeah. We've been dating. Actually, today's our 6-month anniversary.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, she's waiting for me at home.
6 months isn't bad.
Yeah.
6 months isn't
bad. That's usually around that point where you can kind of tell like which way things are going.
You think?
Usually the 6-month marker is where I typically about know. Because like by then I'm either like really into it and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm ready to kind of double down on this, or I'm almost like, well, you know what, like I think I should kind of like get out of this.
Well, what about you though? As far as certain, are you certain from the beginning, or are you like always is it shaky for you in the beginning?
It depends. I mean, it really like red flags. I mean, it's kind of what I've looked for. I mean, because like the last chick I dated before this one, like there was a lot of red flags in the beginning, and I kind of just blatantly chose to ignore them. I was like, oh, this will be different. This will be fine, and it wasn't. It ended up being a shit show. You know,
You get cheated on and shit.
Yeah, she kind of left me for like this dude she knew that like was fresh out of prison. So like it is what it is. But like, but it's one of them things where like there were things that
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's one of the things where like there were things that happened in the beginning of the relationship that probably could have like choreographed that was going to happen. But I was just like, nah, like this is fine. This not again. You know, this can't happen to me. And then here it is happening to me.
Oh,
but so yeah, I think 6 months is usually a pretty good like barometer. I mean, but that's the thing. If nothing sketchy has happened up to the 6-month point, I think it's pretty safe to kind of double down and be content. Like if you haven't had any major red flags or anything that's really made you scratch your head, I think it's safe to kind of like go into it a little less cautiously.
I have a friend in Texas named Kelly, and she used to tell me when there's cracks, there's craters. So once you start seeing anything that's even a little suspicious early on, there's something behind it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because humans, generally speaking, like we're highly perceptive, right? Unless you're just walking around like a goofball and you're not paying attention to anything, we naturally can read and sense things that are going on around us. So if somebody's cheating on me, like if my girlfriend's cheating on me, like I might not think I know I'm being cheated on, but our body and our sensations,
can just feel it. You feel it.
Our perception in other ways is telling us we're being cheated on. I might not sit there and be like, my girlfriend's cheating on me, but I'll start feeling weird vibes and feeling certain sensations that makes me know like I'm probably being cheated on. I'm just not going to address it right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to address like all the sensations that happen in your body.
Yeah, because I mean, your body knows before anybody else. Because I mean, most of the times where I've gotten broken up with, like I can feel it that morning. Like when something's gonna be coming later that day, I almost got like an intuition. Like I know this text is gonna come eventually, and then it usually does. And it's like, okay, so I could feel it. You can feel the energy. You can feel it in the water. You know.
Yeah, I had a cousin who told me that he was dating this girl for a couple of years, and he said like one day his phone rang in the morning, and it was her, and he's like, I just knew it. He's like, I don't know why. There was no inclination she was going to leave me. But he's like, I don't know why when she called me that morning, I knew she was going to leave me. And that's what she did. She was like, I'm done. And she was on a plane while she was telling him.
And that's good. Yeah, she's full send. She committed. It's like it's over with.
Yeah, but your body can really tell. Like, if a girl cheats on me now, I just want her to know, like, I know. Like, I know. I just haven't addressed it in my mind yet. Like, I know. You don't even have to tell me. If you went and saw another guy, you went on a date, or you're even texting somebody, or you're not fully involved in me or dedicated to me, I know it, right? It's just about when a man wants to address it, because in myself, I know a breakup's going to happen, and I got to prepare for it. So the more I start paying attention to the fact that you are seeing somebody else or you are doing something deceitful, the more I have to deal with the fact that, damn, I have to break up with you now.
Yeah.
So people try to avoid breaking up as much as fucking possible.
Yeah, or like they try to almost put it to where the other person has to do it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, let me put the ball in their court. Like, I want to break up, but I don't want to be the one to break up. So let me make them, like, almost force it out of them type thing.
Yeah, man. Would you rather break up with somebody or be broken up with?
I've been on both sides of it. Honestly, I'd rather be the one that like makes the call.
For real?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like being broken up with, but it's like it's almost like then like you kind of have the say. I mean, even if you don't necessarily have the say, but like you're the one that like draws a line and says like this is it, this is done. And I think it almost allows me to walk away a little more confident that I almost like don't want to get back together with that person.
You and Nick were talking about Dragon Ball Z before we got in here. Dragon Ball Z still relevant?
Yeah, I mean, they just dropped a new Fortnite skin the other day for Goku Black. I've been playing the shit out of that. But I'm a big Dragon Ball Z guy. You know, I catch myself like screaming and charging up. You know, if I feel I need a boost or something, like.
Man, I used to watch that shit all the time with my brother when I was younger. I loved that shit. I thought that was like real anime. That's like that kind of the bridge to real anime.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't even want to say I'm like a full-on anime fan because there's a lot more that I don't know than I like do know. It's like Dragon Ball Z was kind of like my apex of like really like being into shit, I suppose. But like it's carried me through my life up to this point. You know? It's like whenever I think I can't get past them, I just remember dude Goku's done like everything. Like Goku's died a bunch and just came back and still did stuff. So I think that says a lot. Like I haven't died once. So it's like I think there's still things for me to accomplish and do.
You watched the new Scream movie?
I haven't, no.
So there's the Scream 6. Are you a Scream fan?
A little bit. Like I think he's sweet, but like I can't say that I've watched a lot of the Scream movies. But I know the preface that, you know, there's
I mean the first, I think 1 through 3 were legendary, and then 4 or 5 and the new one, I don't know what they're thinking about, but the new one, apparently you can get stabbed 30 times and live, and that's what that whole movie is. It's the weirdest thing in that new Scream movie. People get stabbed like crazy and just like end up still being alive.
That's crazy.
I'm like, what happened? Wes Craven doesn't direct them anymore, but what's going on here?
Getting stabbed is like my worst fear.
Yeah,
Like, especially that many times. Like, what do you even do?
I think getting stabbed is worse. Looks worse than getting shot.
I agree. Like, especially you get like, cause people don't like you get shot maybe like once, a couple of times, but like you get stabbed, like people stab you like 45, 50 times.
Man, yeah.
I was like, what do you like? Even like he's like, how do you come back from that? Like,
Do you know there's actually a saying about knife fights?
What?
It said the loser of the knife fight dies in the street. The winner of the knife fight dies on the hospital, the ride to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like there's usually not a winner. Like you're both probably going to the
Yeah.
hospital.
So if you get stabbed, even if you get to the hospital, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you're in a knife fight with somebody, it means you're close. It's the close quartersness of it, right?
Yeah.
There's no like hitting and missing. It's like we're right here, we're looking at each other in the eyes, and you're trying to literally put sliced like big gaping holes in people. It's very vicious, very bloody compared to a gunfight.
Fuck that.
it's a good thing we stopped dueling with swords and shit. That could have been a mess, especially like nowadays.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have survived it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're probably better off with gun violence over sword violence. If we had to choose, like, if we're like, I'm not saying like it's a good thing, but if we had to choose between the two, I think we're probably better off with guns and swords.
Yeah, I would rather have swords and shit. The success rate for murder would probably be way fucking lower.
Yeah, but I mean, you get some skilled swordsmen, you know, like you know, the people that are out killing are like people who are really good with a sword.
Yeah, I was reading online that the only way you can really get away with murder is if you kill somebody you have no affiliation with whatsoever. You'd have to randomly kill somebody to get away with murder just like that, or like there's almost a 0% chance you're gonna cause. As long as the camera didn't get you, and you just shot somebody randomly, you could probably get away with it.
I feel like nowadays, though, more than ever, it's like hard to almost like avoid. You got to really pick and choose where your acts. I feel like everywhere's got cameras. Like even if it's not like a downtown, like a city, like even like neighborhoods, like people got rings, people got door cameras. Like like even if they didn't catch you like doing the murder, like they might have caught you driving down the street or something. It's like it's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're catching everybody in like the craziest fucking ways, like ways you didn't even expect to get caught. Like if they get a hold of your phone, man, it's over for you.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Like, and that's what I heard. Even if you like delete stuff, they can still like just find anything. Like that's
deleting shit doesn't do anything anymore, man. They got fucking agents that will rip up your whole phone because even when you delete stuff on a computer, you're not actually deleting. It's not like the file deletes. It just compacts itself so small that it's not like more than a megabyte on your computer anymore. So something that could have been a gigabyte on your computer hard drive, when you delete it, it turns into like kilobytes basically. Yeah. But it's still there. If somebody knows how to make it come back, they can make that shit come back, bro. I always think about getting away with murder and getting away with robbing people. I always think about that shit. I'm like, how would I do it? Like, okay, how would I rob this person and get away with it? Like, I'll think about their whole like process of getting into their house, how I'm going to steal stuff, how I'm going to get away with it. You know what
It's
I
like-
mean?
I it's the intrusive thoughts. I do the same thing. Like if I was going to do it, like how would I have done it? How would I go about doing it? Like you can't speak about that shit out loud too much because then people give you weird looks and stuff. But I totally understand. I'm right there with you. Like if I was gonna like kill a bunch of people, like how would I?
I
do
wouldn't.
it?
No, not a bunch of people.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's a stretch. Maybe
Yeah.
I should take it down a notch. I don't want to come off as like
Yeah,
a
like a
mass killer.
singularly a person. How would
Yeah.
or more? Let's just stick to robbing a house.
Yeah,
Right.
hitting a lick I think is the safest thing to do in my opinion.
Yeah, like just robbing a place and getting away with, like robbing a bank. Like how easy is it, man? Can you just do it and get away with it? Like there's success stories for sure, but there's more failure stories than success stories.
You just gotta be confident.
Yeah.
You just can't be the guy that goes to rob the bank and folds.
I wonder if there's ever been somebody who robbed the place and the police got there and they still escaped.
Probably. There's gotta be. Like you just blended into the crowd or something. I feel like it's bot. Like
Yeah.
if it hasn't happened in real life, somebody's probably done that in a movie.
Yeah, well, Inside Man. That's Inside Man with Denzel Washington. He goes inside the bank. Right? I don't know. Denzel's the negotiator, but anyway, the guy who robs the bank stays inside of a wall inside of the building until like 3 days later, and then he leaves with all the money, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's a long wait though. I'd probably get hungry. I'd have to at least be like prepared.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah,
Would you say you're like a crier with movies? Do movies make you cry?
yeah, man.
a
I
lot?
get emotional, man.
I cry like more than
What
I like
movie
to
makes you cry?
I mean, I could give you a list. The last movie that made me cry was Tower Heist with Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy.
I never seen it, but I always wanted to see
It's
it.
a great. It probably won't. Normal people probably will not cry. But let's see. I cried at that. I cried at open season. You ever seen Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn? He finds out he has like a bunch of kids because he donated sperm to a sperm bank. He's got like finds out he's got like 400 some kids. I cried like 5 times during that movie. It sounds like a crazy concept, but like dude, heartwarming from start to finish. I mean, I've cried during the Titanic, the Notebook. I cried when Steve left Blue's Clues. There's countless
Man.
times I've cried during Dragon Ball Z. It's honestly harder for me to find things that I haven't cried to.
Yeah.
Like 30 for 30s make me cry. If I see one of them compilations where people are getting golden buzzers on America's Got Talent, that'll make me cry. It's just
That's
big-
it. Yeah,
big
you
cry.
kind of hit like areas where I don't see how you're crying to some of those things. But I will say this though, man. When Steve left Blue's Clues,
That hurt.
I was gone, man.
That
I
hurt.
was the most emotional day of my life. You know, he was talking about he's going to college or something like that, and then
Bullshit.
Blue was just chilling in the back, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me? My childhood is gone now, man. Why are you doing this to me, Nickelodeon or
We're
Nick
supposed to
Jr.?
just like take his brother in, like it's just this new Steve, and we're supposed to be equally as excited about the guy. Like, dude, Joe was no Steve.
Yeah,
Like
that
Joe,
guy-
Joe did what he needed to do, but Joe was no Steve.
No, I didn't get past 2 episodes of Joe. I didn't get past 2. I was like, that's it for me.
That's yeah.
And then
I'll
like I
clock
know they
out.
incorporated magenta,
Uh huh.
and that was kind of cool, but it wasn't enough for me.
Hey, Al, how old were you when you stopped watching Blue's Clues? I'm just curious.
I don't remember when I stopped watching Blue's Clues. I remember whatever day Steve said he was done and he was leaving the show. That's when I stopped watching it. I watched 2 more episodes after that. I was crying. I was going nuts. Yeah, when's Steve's last episodes on Blue's Clues?
Yeah, what year is that?
I think it was like 2000.
Season 6, episode 9. What year was that?
2003.
goddamn. Oh, well, I'm on Blue's Clues Facebook. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Air date 2002.
Damn. Okay.
Right. So
So how old
21
were you in
years.
2002?
2002 was the worst day for a lot of kids
Six,
because
yeah.
it was the last day that Steve was on Blue's Clues, right?
Yeah.
That has to be the one that knocks people away a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Like that hurt for sure. But then you know, I think SpongeBob had just been incorporated like around
SpongeBob's crazy.
Yeah, SpongeBob, dude, SpongeBob is a legendary
It's
show.
funny. Like even going back and watching some of the old stuff, like the jokes and stuff, I feel like it hit as much now as they did back in the day. Like
Season 1 through 4 are legendary for sure. Everything
gonna say.
everything after the movie was absolute garbage. But I think I was reading that SpongeBob was originally for a more adult.
I remember reading that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the character names and all that were supposed to be based on like sex toys and like Bikini Bottom and all that.
That's what
Right, yeah.
SpongeBob's actually based around, right?
What?
So Bikini Bottom is the underwater area around the Bikini Atoll Islands where the U.S. did nuclear bomb testing. That's why Bikini Bottom's so wild, is because everything's like slightly nuclearly twisted. But that's like where everybody kind of has their thing, like the general concept about it.
Yeah, that's what I remember reading something about that too. They were supposed to sell the show to like something more adult rated. I think like something on Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network's a little bit more funky. Like they have more fun with their shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nickelodeon has to be like really, really clean and tight knit for kids.
Yeah. Cartoon Network's just whatever.
You know, fuck Cartoon Network.
I like Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network was my shit growing up, especially like Toonami.
Yeah.
Like that late night fucking that dude that was flying the ship and shit.
Yeah, that shit
was
was
cool.
fire, man.
Honestly, I wish I could roll around a radioactive waste. Like, would you do it if there was that off chance like you might get superpowers?
What?
Like roll around a radioactive waste?
Nah, fuck no. Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah, I mean, dude, or anything.
No.
Like anything where somebody's gotten a shard in radioactive waste and they just get powers.
Nah, I'm cool on powers.
But like heat vision.
That's what you would take out of everything?
Or maybe like super strength. If I had to choose, like if I had to pick something, I'd probably like the ability to fly. That would probably be like the most convenient. You just gotta watch out for planes.
Yeah.
And helicopters. RP Kobe.
I'd probably go invisible and just like, man, be scouting out the beaches and just chilling and shit. Dude, I'm perverted with that shit, son. I'm like, man, let me see some titties, bro. I'm not trying
in the
to.
locker rooms. Like,
Yeah, what's going on here? But that's like, it's so fucked up because like when we talk about that, like if you talk about being in every guy's like, gonna say that they'll be invisible as their superpower because they want to see girls naked. Like every guy's gonna say that. Like, and if they're not saying it, they're fucking lying. Yeah. But the funny part is that's not funny is. You ever watch on the news when like coaches get in trouble for like
fucking spying and shit? Yeah.
And it's like this guy's a fucking piece of shit. But every single guy in the back of his mind's like, dude, if I was invisible though, I would literally do that. So
But like I think if I was invisible, I wouldn't get caught, so I wouldn't have to worry about that.
I guess the difference is you're recording them on data. And like that stuff's like on fucking document and stuff, so it's like fucked up and it could like whatever.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
But I don't know. But it's not like you can DVR your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're going with them Google specs that got like screen recording or something. Like,
man.
But if then you won't be invisible because there's be a floating pair of glasses. So it's like,
dude, remember when even though it was just last year, how fucking like Facebook was supposed to be like this new thing where everybody's an avatar in like the 3D world. What was it called?
Like the metaverse?
The metaverse. Remember how the metaverse was supposed to be a thing and
like
it's not a thing?
It like scared me thinking about it, like the metaverse.
But dude, like it was obviously not gonna fucking work. Do you really think people want to be that integrated into technology?
No way. Especially now. I mean, I could see it being a thing one day, but like now, especially this day, like I couldn't just sit with a VR and just want to be in a 3D world. Let's like take it off, like be in real life, bro. There's way too much going on, especially Facebook too. Like I'm not trying to have to buy. Like I just bought my own house. I'm not trying to have to buy another house in this virtual space and have to hang out in that, part time. Make sure stuff's not happening to that. Like that's a lot to ask for. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. But you know what? I guess if your life really sucks, I could see it doing it.
Oh, 100%. Like if your real life is ass, like I can see 100% why you want to be in like VR all day. But like, I don't know, like. You got options. Like you could go out. You can make a Tinder.
Yeah.
Find some hoes. I mean, or find some dudes.
But you gotta think too. The Sims came out. That was a huge thing. Like even though The Sims is a cool ass game and everything, and you can kind of like do stuff that maybe you can't do in real life. A lot of people with normal lives were playing The Sims. Like a lot of people who had a 9-to-5 job were literally playing The Sims with a 9-to-5 job in the game and just having a wife and kids. And in real life, you had a wife and kids too. So it's like you were playing The Sims, but living almost the same damn life you were living in the video game. There wasn't even much you could do outside of like something miraculous playing The Sims.
No, yeah.
It's
Just go downtown for a night and just like see what's cracking on there. But like, yeah, it's all just pretty basic, nonchalant stuff you do in real life, really. Like, it's just.
How the hell did that game get us hooked, man? You're just doing nothing.
You just have control, and then I mean, my girlfriend's like obsessed with it, so I guess like it's kind of just a thing where like you can make a family have 200 kids, just like lock them all in a basement or something. You just have the freedom to do whatever you want. I think that's just what it comes down to.
What would your dream life be? Man,
that's a tough one. Honestly, if I could get like invested in the WWE scene, like kind of like be like in like with them like primarily like on it, whether it be on screen or something like that, probably be like my end game goal. I'm a big wrestling guy. I actually went to try out to be a professional wrestler. I went to the school and all that.
Really?
It was the most painful thing I've ever done in my entire life. For 2 hours, I just got my ass kicked. They just like made me fall down to like get good at falling down, because there's a certain way you got to fall down. There's an art to it, obviously. It's all kind of just like it's choreographed, but it didn't feel good. So like the first time I fell, I almost knocked myself unconscious because I forget that when you throw yourself backwards, you got to like tuck your chin.
Yeah.
So off rip, I'm already probably like going into the trial with CTE, and the guy asked me, he's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah." I drove out to Port Huron. I committed. So yeah, it was just 2 hours of me just like falling on my ass. And then after that, he was like, "Okay, well, like now we got to practice like front flips and then falling on your ass." And mind you, I don't really do front flips into like swimming pools or on the trampolines. Like I kind of had that like inner battle where it's like, okay, like, am I going to do this? Am I going to commit? If I want to be in the WWE, I guess I got to. So I did it. I did some lasting damage on my lower back and pelvis for sure. For the first like 3.5, 4 months after the trial, like I couldn't like sit down for too long, or I'd have to like pry myself out of the chair because it hurt so bad to get up.
You healed now?
Yeah, I'm pretty good for the most part now. I mean, I get lower back issues. Like every now and again, like, it'll just hurt. But it kind of definitely gave me a new respect for those guys.
So this was like the actual WWE facility?
No, it was it was this place in Port Huron. It was in like a karate dojo in the back. They just set up a dinky little ring, and this guy was running a school. So it was kind of a tryout to get into the school. But apparently, this guy had connections. Because everybody in the industry does.
Why would you want to join the WWE though?
I've just always been a fan. I thought pro wrestling was just like sweet. I've always been just like watching it, the storytelling with it, just watching guys beat the shit out of each other.
But don't you? I mean, I can't tell through the sweatshirt, but doesn't your frame have to be a little bit like?
And that's the thing. I'm small as fuck, so I'm not. I'm maybe like, I'm maybe like 5'10", like $160. So it's like I for sure would not have been big enough. Like feasibly, it probably would not have worked as me like a wrestler. Like I could have been like an on-screen person because I can talk kind of well, but like I definitely probably could not have been like a physical threat to anybody. But then again, I mean, like Bad Bunny was just on Backlash in Puerto Rico and he tore it up. And I mean, he's not a super big guy either. So like, it's possible, but like, you really got to like commit to that shit. And after doing it for 2 hours, I don't know if I could commit to making a life out of it. There's no way my body could hold up.
Nah, man, that's the real deal. Remember that one interview where I forget what wrestler, but the interviewer was saying like, "Isn't wrestling fake?" And
yeah, it was Randy Savage. Yeah, and he like smacked the shit out of him. He's like,
he
"Oh, does this
feel fake to you?" Man, those guys were legit, dude.
Yeah, no, there's no fucking around. I mean, you can't fake and hit in the face with a chair. You know, that's not like, you don't joke about that kind of stuff. Like,
every kid wanted to be a wrestler growing up. Anybody who loved the WWE, WWF, NWO, it's like everybody was like, "I want to do that one day," and like you would do it with your friends. Like you'd choke slam your friend off a couch, you'd choke,
fucking on the mattresses. It was like fun, cool, and collect. But like, yeah, and then like real world, like
man,
it's not.
My cousin Trevino, like when we were, I think we were like 10. I was like 10, and he was like 8 or something, something like that. I choke slammed him off of the top of a couch into a freaking door, man.
Oh my god.
I'll never forget that. Like he was crying, man. I was like, "What are we doing? Like, choke slamming people off couches?" No, dude. You know what? I'm gonna give myself worse credit than that. I was like 14 and he was like 13.
Oh my god.
When I did that, so we had some power when I threw him into that thing.
Well, that's the thing. They tell you not to try it at home, but they make it way too fun looking to not try it at home.
Yeah.
So it's like anybody wants to know what it feels like to get put through a table.
Yeah, man.
Well, maybe not anybody, but I do. Like,
what do you think the greatest wrestler of all time was?
I think John Cena, honestly. That might be controversial to some people, but like John Cena's just him. He's just been him for a long time. Yeah. Like 16-time world champion. You can't even see the guy. And yet he's like, the biggest face of like the company ever. So it's like, that says a lot about him, The man that doesn't want to be seen is everywhere.
He was too human for me. Like he was too like just normal looking, like redneckish type guy that was but regular haircut, just whatever. Like I guess that's why a lot of people fucked with him, probably because there was relatability. But I was like into Kane. I like the mask thing. I like
Kane was sweet. Undertaker, like that type of like the monster kind of presentation was always sweet too. Like a big
mysteriousness. Like what is that thing?
Yeah.
What the fuck is a Kane? Like when the hell did you ever see something on TV where it's like you're looking at something like what the fuck is that? Like, it's a robot. And then I think they did make him a robot for a little while or something like that. Like remember when like nobody knew what he was? Like is he a person? Like, but then all of a sudden he was a machine. Like what the fuck are we? What are we talking about here? Dude, and then what was it? WCW versus NWO, bro.
The fucking NWO was sick as fuck. Like,
Nintendo 64, bro. Holy shit. That was the classic nights when you're playing Nintendo 64. You had like GoldenEye, you had WCW versus NWO, Mario Kart, Super Mario World, all that stuff. Like
Mario Party.
Mario Party.
You fucking hate some people. You bust out Mario Party. You hate your friends.
I loved Mario Party. That was my favorite. My cousins used to come over. We used to play Mario Party. That was the best, man.
I was got my ass kicked in Mario Party. I was so bad at it,
Bro.
comedically bad at it. Like
I was competitive, dude. I was like, I'm gonna fucking beat everybody here. You're gonna be upset about it, dude.
I was pretty good at Mario Kart, but like that was about the extent of it. Like, that's like even that's a stretch. Like I mean, I'm good against a computer, but other people, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, man.
Talk to me about Super Smash Brothers. That's what's up.
Oh, that's a great game
Smash
too.
is cool too.
I literally like almost got in a fist fight over Super Smash Brothers.
Who have you run into with the music scene, man? Who's some of the people you've encountered?
Let's see. I ran into GMAT Cash one night at Big Daddy Games, just on like just some weird shit. Amber Heard sometimes brings like fun people. I met like Dog Nuts. I always want to call him Doggy Nuts, but it's not Doggy Nuts. It's Dog Nuts. I gotta just not picture Dog Nuts. Honestly, there's not really a ton of people because like most of the time, like these people get there way later than I'm like down to be at the club. Like by like 1 o'clock, 1:30, like I'm ready to go home. And that's like when most people like show up to hang out and stuff. So it's a tough gamble because like I like the life, but like the nightlife sometimes is like, fuck man, like would I really want to be here right now?
Nah, yeah.
Like so it's a gamble. I mean, but like
I need to be home by 1 o'clock, man.
yeah, especially like because I mean I've been on nights, so it's not so bad. I mean, working until like 11:30 or 3:30 a.m. depending on my schedule. So like the nightlife wasn't too hard because I get home and still be in bed usually before I'd get off of work. But like when I'm working days, like being out till like 1:30, 2 in the morning, and then having to be up at like 20 after 4 for work the next day, like it's not an easy or ideal thing to do. But
No, yeah. I
it's
feel
a sacrifice in the game you got to make, I guess.
Rappers say that they're gonna be performing at the event at like 11 o'clock, and then you get there at 11, and then they don't pull up till 1:59 a.m.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've learned that sound check is a myth. And that's my problem too. Like I run on white people time with like everything I do. So like when I see these posted times for these events, like I'm the motherfucker that's getting there like 20 minutes after it starts, and then I wait an hour and a half or 2 hours before people that actually start showing up. And it's always like, why did I do this to myself? Like even when I got here today, I was waiting out there for like 30 minutes.
My fault.
No, that's not your fault. That's my fault. I got here like you told me to be here at 7:50. I got here at like 7:30.
Oh shit.
Because I leave my house with the thought of like, okay, well, like, what if there's an accident? You know, what if I get into an accident? What if I get pulled over? Like, I gotta leave the house with as much time as possible so that I know, like.
Oh, so you're responsible with your time.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very much like get there early. And
I'm like the type of person that, if we say 7 o'clock, I'm there at 7:30 for sure. And if you ask me if I left my house, I'm gonna say yeah, but I'm still in my bed sleeping.
I do that shit too. People like, if you left it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 10 minutes out or whatever. Like, I haven't even left the house.
I'm in
yet,
my
like,
bed, son. I'm telling you, I left. I did not leave, and then I'm thinking of every excuse in the book by the time I get to you why I wasn't there. On time.
Yeah. It's like
That's
by
how
then
I'm
you can formulate something good, and it just sounds convincing.
But nowadays, I'm more so hitting like the aspect of just knowing I'm gonna be late and just getting over it. Like I don't care. You're not gonna rush me, man. I don't care anybody. I don't care what deadline or what time we have set. Nobody's rushing me to do anything anymore. If you tell me to be somewhere at 8 and I'm late, I'm just gonna accept the fact that I'm late, get there late, and apologize for it.
Yeah, like it is what it is. And people can't really hold it over you because like it's just like stuff happens. You know, it's like it's not like. I mean, you're honest with the fact that you're late sometimes. You're not always on time. Like it is what it is. Like get over it. Like.
People like when you're in school, like teachers will instill like this like crazy dimension into you where it's like, oh, you're late. This is craziness.
Yeah.
What is this madness of you being late? And then when you get older, you're like, man, fuck you.
So
like,
yeah, people don't really care that much.
Yeah, people don't give a fuck.
No.
You
It's all about showing up. As long as you show up, it doesn't matter what time you get there. Like,
yeah,
I made an appearance. Damn it.
Yeah, man. What's on your mind, man? What are thoughts that reoccur in your brain?
Like, is the Earth flat? That
Word.
kind of stuff. I'm a flat earther.
For real?
I'll be the first to admit it. Oh yeah, 100%. I didn't used to be. I was normal before, but then like my dad like did a lot of work overseas for a lot of years, and like in his free time of his like 12-hour days, like he had a guy he worked with that told him the world was flat, and he was like, no, it's not. So he spent all his time trying to prove this guy wrong, and apparently the more time he spent trying to prove this guy wrong, the more he was like, oh, this guy makes some valid points. So now he's throwing all that onto me. So now I kind of like I'm on the fence about it. Like I can see it going both ways, but like I don't think we landed on the moon. I'll keep it a buck with you.
Every time I want to argue with somebody about the world being flat, I just realize like I don't know anything, so I don't even argue because I'm like, man, I could tell you that the world is round just because I think it's round, but at the end of the day, dude, I'm so uneducated that I just be like, I'll just say just to think I'm right.
Yeah, and that's my thing, because like I don't know for sure. I'll probably never know for sure.
I
but,
watch
like,
those YouTube videos about why the world isn't flat, and I watch them like, I still don't get it. But
yeah.
all right, I understand. Like,
And that's the thing, like people tell me like, oh, well, like give me examples, like give me proof. And, like I can give them like little shit here and there, but like I'm like, dude, you want to talk to somebody that knows this shit? I'm like, talk to my dad. Like he'll sit you down, he'll take you to the flat Earth map. He's got in his basement, and he'll talk to you for an hour about why it is the way it is. Like, but,
I'm gonna use the restroom.
oh yeah, do what you got to do.
Conspiracies, man. Fucking what conspiracies? I bet I was watching the Conjuring, Ed and Lorraine. Fucking apparently all their shit was bullshit. What's their names again? The people who did all that shit. Ed and something Lorraine. Whatever. There was like these this fucking famous paranormal couple. And they like made hundreds of movies and books about these guys. They made like The Conjuring based upon them and Insidious and all these things. And apparently like they were this paranormal detective couple, but everything they did ended up being bullshit. Like they,
It was all bull. I thought they were like legitimate. And they were like talking like it was all bullshit.
No, they would make up a bunch of stories about why they were somewhere. They would like go to people's houses and be like, "Can we investigate your house?" And like create all these ideas. And one of the husbands of like one of the victims like fucking kicked them out of the house once he figured out they were bullshit.
Oh no shit.
But apparently all those movies are like I was so pissed off when I figured out like Annabelle and all that. I was like, dude, I wanted this to be so
That's
real.
like disheartening. I thought it was all based on like true events or true stories, so it makes it a lot easier for that stuff to like buy into, especially like the scary stuff. It's like damn, like because I can imagine it happening.
Dude, but if you're like a fucking couple and just going around lying to people,
Yeah, like that.
That must be a badass job to have, just lying all day. Like, oh, there's a ghost in your fucking house, dude. Pay me $500 and we'll get rid of him. Only we can see this ghost, dude. We have a fucking detector, a ghost detector.
Fucking hustle.
Yeah, but that's the way they lived, man.
That was a big thing. When we're looking for my house. Like I wanted to make sure I got something that wasn't haunted,
Yeah.
and I'm still convinced my house is haunted.
What do you think?
Like I don't know. Like I'll be like hearing stuff from my cat, or just like look up at stuff and just be staring. Her eyes be moving, but nothing's there.
Yeah.
Like she'll be looking behind me, but like not at me type shit. So it throws me off a bit. But like I haven't seen any apparitions or like the Hat Man, so I think I'm doing pretty okay.
And what else makes you think your house is haunted?
I mean, like I've had instances where like I've like doors I know I left closed have been like opened, or I'll just like hear noises or things fall that I know I did not go over. But I just try not to think about it, because I think like the more you think about it, the more you're gonna create that like paranormal narrative, and I almost like don't want to do that.
Yeah. Can you pull that microphone into yourself real quick?
Like,
Well,
I kiss it every time.
I mean, I have my own theories about ghosts and whatnot, but I do think that if people died at the house you live at, then there's some weird energy could be
Somebody's
there.
for sure gotta be there. Like
I don't think somebody's there. I think the energy of the person is some bad like imprint is left there. Because like for instance, right, they say like some of the studios Jimi Hendrix recorded at and a lot of major artists or whatever, you can feel the energy in the room when you walk into the room. Even if you didn't know that like Jimi Hendrix had recorded at a specific studio, they say people like walk into the studios he recorded at and they'd feel like this fucking overwhelmingly like psychedelic energy.
It's kind of gnarly.
And yeah, and they say that like about mountains, they say a lot of the reasons that these like yogis and gurus go off into the mountains is because there's like a certain type of energy that's been accumulated over times from past yogis and gurus. And so if it's that way with that, then with death, it's probably that way too. Like if somebody died somewhere in a horrific manner and you live there, I'm sure there's some weirdness in the energy, dude.
100%. It's got I mean, there's got to be some sort of afterlife or some part of them that like sticks around. Because I don't want to say revenge, but it's got to just be like you almost feel like you're like trapped there. It's like a part of you.
Yeah,
like if you spent your last moments there, like
that would suck, bro.
Yeah, I always think about that. Like, dude, like if I was gonna die at work or something, like take me outside. Like let me at least go out looking at the sky, not the ceiling. Like
I don't know, man. Like you know how you get your last words, or like if you're gonna get executed. And somebody's like, all right, so dude, this is like kind of like a concept I had in my head recently. So let's say you were stuck in a room, like this room right here, but there's no technology. It's just this room and you get fed.
Yeah.
And there's a gun there. And it's like, all right, this gun's going to shoot you whenever you're ready, but you can live here and only here with no connection to nothing for as long as you want. All you get to do is eat and live. Like, how long would it be before you're like, all right, dude, let's get this over with. Let's fucking pull this trigger.
I'd probably try to ride it out for as long as possible. Because I don't know. I think it's one of the things where it's like have you ever seen the movie The Mist with Stephen King?
No.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. Most like frustrating ending ever. So basically, like, spoilers, there's this big ass mist. It takes over this whole town, and like so they're like cooped up in this grocery store. But then they're like, we got to get out of the grocery store. We're gonna leave. So they all pile in this van, and they're like, we're gonna drive it till it runs out of gas. So they drive this like Jeep, whatever, it runs out of gas. There's 5 of them in the car. So they have like a loaded revolver, right? So the guy driving the Jeep like kills everybody in there, and there aren't any bullets left for him, right? Because they're like, well, they're at the end of the road. They're at the end of the road. It's like, this is it, this is the end game. So he like gets out of the Jeep. He's all like upset, and then like help arrives.
Oh shit!
And then the National Guard rolls up, the mist starts to roll back, and then you find out that he just killed his son and all these strangers for no reason. If they would have waited a little longer.
Oh, that's one of those. I keep hearing about that movie, and like in the beginning, it's like they're in a grocery store, and they get locked in the back for a little while.
Yeah, it's a great, honestly, great movie, great watch. But like the ending is just like it makes you want to pull your hair out. It's like the ending of what was that movie with Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
Like the ending of that movie like blew me away.
Yeah.
Like
well. Yeah, that sucks though. Like, so basically, he kills everybody, and then the police and everybody.
And then help arrives, and then it's basically like everything kind of gets rolled back.
I would have fucking went nuts, dude.
Yeah. So it's almost like just ride it out for as long as you can, because like that could be the difference between like you making
okay,
it
but
out
put
and
that
not.
aside though. Put aside the fact that there's gonna be it's a certainty that you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Yeah, it's over for you.
I don't know.
Would you? Because that's the whole thing. Even if you're gonna get executed or somebody's gonna kill you or whatever, you always think like, all right, do I want them to like face me when they take me out? Do I want to not know when it's coming?
That's true, yeah. I honestly I think I'd like push it. Like I'd maybe like have fun with it. Like okay, well like I just won't sleep the entire time I'm here, and we'll see how long I can make it before I go insane, and then feel what that feels like. Because at that point, like if I got nothing else to do, I might as well have fun. Like if I know this is the end of the road, like why rush into it? Let's have a little like. Let's get a little sleep deprived and see what happens.
Yeah, like fuck around before you like end it.
Yeah, because maybe I could like hallucinate something sweet, and then that prolongs you like being alive longer because you would hallucinate this crazy life because you just don't sleep anymore.
Yeah, I definitely, if I'm gonna get executed though, I want to see it
Oh,
coming.
100%. Like
I want to know
like,
what's
look
coming.
me in the eyes, bro. Like,
Yeah,
like dap me up before you put me out. Like
yeah. Remember that movie, No Country for Old Men?
I've never seen it, but I've
Dude,
heard of it.
oh my god! First thing to do this week, go watch No Country for Old Men. But there's a scene. I don't even. Dude, you gotta watch. I'm not even gonna ruin that movie.
Wait, is it like Brokeback Mountain with like the gay cowboys or?
Dude, No Country for Old Men is like fucking Woody Harrelson. It's the Coen brothers directed it.
Okay.
Same directors as The Big Lebowski.
Oh, okay. That's a good movie.
Dude, go No Country.
movie,
Yeah,
okay.
go watch that fucking. That's
He has the thing and he
kills you with like the
cattle.
cattle prop. Yeah, like you literally.
That movie is so fucking.
That's like top 10 for me for sure. No Country for Old Men. But what's your favorite movie of all time?
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Fuck. Honestly, I would say The Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn. Like it's a recent one I watched, and you might scratch your head and be like, "Why?" But dude, like I've never seen a movie like that made me feel the way that movie felt.
The Delivery Man.
The Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn. That's your homework. You got to go watch that movie.
What's your second favorite movie of all time?
I like Charlie St. Cloud. That's another really good movie. You ever seen Charlie St. Cloud?
What's that?
It's with Zac Efron. It's like his kid, his like brother, his like little brother dies, but like he can like go into the woods and like play catch with his dead brother basically.
Ugh.
So he goes and does that every day, and then it's just kind of like he has to grow apart, from playing catch with his dead brother every day. It's another movie I cried in the theater. Well, with my mom and my sister, and I was the only one that left the theater crying.
I forget the last movie that I cried on. It was probably oh man, the last movie I cried on was like, I honestly don't fucking remember, dude. I cry a lot during movies though, like at those like weird moments where it's like all sentimental and shit.
Yeah,
It's
it gets me
like,
every time. Like it just there's no even like Hallmark movies like they make me cry because they're sappy and it always works out in the end, but like it still feels good every time it does.
I cried watching the new Lion King, but I remember crying not only because it was like fucked up, but and this is like kind of like a weird connection, but I also cried because I knew me and my girlfriend were gonna break up. So it was like the weirdest timing. It was like watching The Lion King, which was like ultimate nostalgia and like life-fed movie, and then I'm sitting next to somebody who's like, you're supposed to be a part of your life forever, and I knew it was gonna be over. So I was like, fuck, bro.
That's heavy, especially now. Like how can you even watch that without making that association? Like
Yeah, dude, that's another thing. Association through music. When you're dating somebody and you listen to certain songs and then you break up with them and then all you can think about is those songs and you don't want to hear those songs, or sometimes you do want to hear those songs.
Yeah.
What's your heartbreak song?
Dude, Memories by Ty Dolla $ign and Divison. That one, dude. That one recently hit me pretty hard. I like got really into that song, and I like showed it to this chick, and then she ended up like fucking me over. So for months, I just could not listen to that song. It'd come on my shuffle, on my playlist, and I just skip it because it just hurt too bad.
My first song that like this girl broke my heart to is by Green Day. No,
Is it
not
Boulevard
Green.
of Broken Dreams.
No, who made that song? Grand Theft Autumn. Fuck.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. Where is your boy tonight? That song. Fuck. Whatever the fuck his name, dude. I think it wasn't Green Day. It was that fucking guy. What's that guy's name, dude? Hold on.
Sorry.
Let me see. Grand Theft Autumn. Grand Theft Auto. Fallout Boy.
Fallout Boy. Okay,
Dude,
okay.
Fallout Boy. What the fuck happened to them? But yeah, I remember listening to that, and I was like, man, I was like fucking going nuts listening to that song and shit. But that's interesting that Grand Theft Auto actually pulled up. Do you play Grand Theft Auto?
I do. Like not a ton anymore. I used to more like back on like the 360 as opposed to the one, but like I was into it for a while.
Yeah, I wonder what the next version of that shit's gonna be, dude.
Yeah, I mean, apparently like from what I hear, it's like Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna be like the most expensive video game ever made. But like, I mean, who knows if it'll ever come out? You know, they talk about that shit forever, and then they just won't drop it. So
No,
it's
they
like,
have to drop it, dude.
eventually. But like, who knows if we'll even be alive by that point?
What was the biggest waste of time in your life that you ever experienced?
Wow, that's a biggest waste of time. Damn, that's like one of them like questions you hear and like you're just not prepared for. That's a stretch. Biggest waste of time of all time. I'm stumped, kiddo. I think it's because I just spend so much time wasting time that it all kind of just like blends together and you almost like can't think of shit.
Damn, that was a good answer.
Let's see. I don't know. I guess a prime example would be like thinking I'd be like a good full-time rec basketball coach.
You tried to be a rec basketball coach?
Yeah, like my homies. Oh, here's the thing. Like my homies at a basketball team, I can't play for shit. I'm awful, right? I'm terrible. But I thought, you know what? Like, what if I suited up every game? Like in a suit, you know, like how coaches used to back in the day. They can't anymore. They're all like casual dress on the sideline. Like I want to be like a vintage coach. You know what I'm saying? Like how they used to be back in the day. So yeah, for a lot of games, I just showed up and like I'd set lineups, you know, because it's a rec league, so I want to make sure everybody gets even playing time. But like obviously, you know, like the guys on the court, they got bigger egos, so they think they're calling the shots when it's like I'm fucking, you know, making the calls when it's clutch time, and they didn't like that. So I started playing, and then I realized how much I hated coaching once I started playing basketball. Because I was like, you know, why do I care about the team if I can't help us win? But then, like, I ended up helping us like lose most of the games. I think my like record as a coach is probably like at least like minus like 25, 30. Like I can count on one hand the amount of games we probably won, but I can count on my hands and toes the amount of games we lost.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just not cut out to be a coach, but like. But maybe like I could be a great coach for like youth, because like I'm so bad that I think they could like see through my skills. I don't know if the parents could, but like I think I could get away with being like a youth coach because the kids might not realize I'm as bad as I'm making it out to be. Yeah, until it comes to like teaching them how to shoot a ball and you know showing them the potty shot. But it is what it is. You know.
Man, this was a very interesting talk, man. How can people find you on social media, bro?
You can find me on Instagram at CooG Daddy. That's COOGDADDY. You can find me on all streaming platforms at CooG. It's just COOG. You see the cute little white boy in the durag? It's me.
So, CooG, I'm going to have you back on, man. You're going to be one of my honorary guests we have come back from every few months. Keep us posted. Keep us updated.
Honored.
Fun talk, man. It's good to bounce back and forth with you. A lot of people don't realize that. I'm not going to say what I was about to say, but they'll... I'll text you later. I'll text you later and tell you the secret. But appreciate you being a part of this. We're at Parallel Sound Studio, High Low Visuals, and Shooting These Productions. We're out. Peace.